At first glance, the silhouette of this object looks like a B-2 Spirit bomber, but the reality is way worse than that. There is a video out there that is so clear it looks like a movie, but it is actually real military footage. It shows a metallic craft hovering perfectly still against a 100-mile-per-hour wind. There are no rotors and no visible exhaust.
The newly released video captured by a U.S. Reaper drone shows a glowing orb off the coast of Yemen. Suddenly, on the left side of your screen, you see a Hellfire missile zip in, strike that unidentified object, then bounce right off it.
One of the most overlooked aspects is that this footage comes from a high-tech sensor that tracks heat and speed perfectly. Even with all this data, the Pentagon keeps their doors closed about it. They tell us they are being open, but they are leaving out the most important evidence.
That's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
We've never seen a Hellfire missile hit a target and bounce off.
Impossible aircraft caught on military sensors. Most people are used to seeing shaky videos of lights in the night sky. But that is not what we are dealing with here. For starters, we have to talk about a specific piece of footage that was captured by an MQ-9 Reaper drone. This drone is one of the most advanced pieces of tech in the world. It carries cameras that can see a person from miles away in total darkness. While flying over a Middle Eastern desert, this drone saw something that should not exist. It was a metallic sphere, about 15 feet wide, just hanging there in the air. What most people do not realize is that this was not a glitch. The camera stayed locked on the object for several minutes. The silver ball was reflecting the sun perfectly, which proves it was a solid, physical thing. There were no wings, no tail, and no engines that we could see. It just sat there, moving slightly with the wind, but staying perfectly level. This is a key detail, because any drone or plane we make needs some kind of lift to stay up. This orb did not care about the rules of flight. And get this, the drone operators were watching this in real time. They tried to track where it came from, but it just appeared out of nowhere. The crazy part is that the Pentagon has released reports about hundreds of other sightings, but they always seem to skip this one. This video is way clearer than the famous Tic Tac video or the gimbal footage. You can see the texture on the surface of the craft. It looks like polished steel or some kind of liquid metal. Basically, the quality of this video is so good that it leaves no room for excuses. You cannot say it is a bird, because birds do not look like perfect mirrors, and they do not fly at 20,000 feet for hours. You cannot say it is a balloon, because it was moving at a constant speed against the wind. See, the government usually likes to show us the blurry stuff because it is easy to debunk. When they get a video that is this clear, they keep it buried in a basement somewhere. A lot of people are confused about why this footage has not been on the nightly news. Well, it is because it proves that there is something in our sky that we cannot control. This silver orb was flying in restricted airspace, where our military is supposed to have total power. If a foreign country had this tech, our entire defense system would be useless. That is a scary thought for the people in charge. But here is the catch. This specific orb was seen by multiple sensors at the same time. Not only did the drone see it with a visual camera, but it also picked it up on radar and infrared. In the infrared view, there was no heat coming off the object. Every engine we know, whether it is a jet or a rocket, creates heat. This thing was stone cold, yet it was moving through the air at high speeds. This suggests that it uses some kind of propulsion that we do not even have a name for yet. Hands down, this is the most impressive evidence ever leaked. It shows a craft that can sit still and then zip away so fast that the camera cannot even keep up. 1 second it is there, and the next it is just a tiny speck on the horizon. Nobody expected this to happen, but it has been caught on camera more than once. There are whispers that these orbs are everywhere, watching our military exercises and checking out our most secret bases. But wait until you see where these objects actually hide. Pattern behind the silent visitors. This clear video of the silver orb is part of a much bigger story that goes back decades. For starters, pilots have been seeing these exact same shapes since the Second World War. Back then, they called them Foo Fighters. They were small, glowing orbs that would dance around the wings of fighter planes. Even back then, they moved in ways that were impossible. They could fly circles around the fastest planes of that time. What most people do not realize is that these sightings are not random. There is a clear pattern to where these objects show up. They are almost always seen near places with high technology or military power. We are talking about nuclear power plants, aircraft carriers, and missile silos. It is like they are keeping an eye on our most dangerous weapons. In one famous case from 1967, a group of these orbs hovered over a missile base in Montana. Seconds later, all 10 of the nuclear missiles went offline. The tech used to do that is way beyond anything we have today. The crazy part is that these objects are not just in the air. We are now learning that they move through the water just as easily. Pilots have reported seeing large, dark shapes under the surface of the ocean. These objects can travel at hundreds of miles per hour underwater without making a single bubble or a sound. Then they just fly right out of the waves and into space. Scientists call this transmedium travel. Basically, it means the craft does not care if it is in air, water, or a vacuum. And get this, the clear footage of the silver orb matches the descriptions from pilots who were just a few feet away from these things. One pilot described it as looking like a glass sphere with a cube inside of it. Think about how weird that is. It is not a saucer or a rocket. It is a geometric shape that defies every design we use for flight. These visitors are not following our rules. See, the reason the Pentagon stays silent is that they do not have a way to stop them. If these objects want to fly over the White House or a secret base, they just do it. Our best fighter jets have tried to chase them, but it is like a turtle trying to catch a rabbit. The UFOs just wait for the jet to get close, and then they disappear in the blink of an eye. This is putting it lightly, but it is a total embarrassment for the most powerful military on Earth. There are still many rumors in the air about what these objects are actually doing. Some experts think they are automated probes, like the ones we send to Mars, but from another star system. They might be here just to gather data and send it back home. Others think they might be coming from right here on Earth, hidden deep in the trenches of the ocean where we cannot reach them. It is not that simple, though, because the way they move suggests they are not just machines. They seem to react to the thoughts of the pilots or the movements of the planes before they even happen. It is like they are one step ahead of us at all times. This is one of the most overlooked aspects of the whole mystery. We are looking at a clear video of a machine, but the machine might be smarter than any human. And this is where the physics of our world completely breaks down. Gravity control beyond our reach. When you look at that clear video of the orb, you have to ask yourself how it stays in the sky. Basically, every flying thing we have made uses air to stay up. Planes use wings to create lift, and helicopters use rotors to push air down. But these silver spheres have nothing. No wings, no propellers, and no jet blast. This means they are likely using something called gravity manipulation. So, here is the deal. Instead of fighting against gravity, these crafts might be creating their own little bubble of space around them. Inside that bubble, the rules of the outside world do not apply. This is why they can go from 0 to 10,000 miles per hour in a second without crushing the person or the computer inside. If you were in a normal jet and did that, you would be flattened instantly. But in a gravity bubble, you would not feel a thing. The crazy part is that this would also explain why there is no sonic boom. When a normal plane goes faster than the speed of sound, it pushes the air out of the way so hard that it makes a giant explosion of sound. But these objects are silent. Even when they are moving at hypersonic speeds, nobody hears a thing. It is like they are slipping through the air without actually touching it. This is a key detail that points to technology that is thousands of years ahead of ours. And get this, there are no visible fuel tanks or exhaust ports on these things. Every engine we have needs to burn something and throw it out the back to move forward. These objects seem to have a power source that lasts forever. Some scientists believe they are tapping into the energy of empty space itself. This is called zero-point energy. If we had that, we could power the entire planet for free, and we would never need oil or coal again. Nobody expected this to happen, but some of the clear footage shows these objects interacting with our jets in a way that looks like they are playing with them. They will mirror the jet's movement exactly, staying just a few feet away, regardless of how much the pilot turns. It is a show of total control. They are proving that our laws of physics are just a small part of a much bigger picture. What most people do not realize is that the materials used to build these things are just as strange as the way they fly. Some pieces of debris that have leaked out are made of isotopes that do not exist on Earth. The atoms are arranged in a way that makes the metal incredibly light, but stronger than any diamond. We are trying to copy these materials in secret labs, but we are still a long way off. It is a lot to take in, but the evidence is right there in the high-definition video. We see a solid object doing things that should be impossible. Everyone is obsessed with looking for little green men, but the real story is the machine itself. The craft is the proof that someone, somewhere, has mastered the universe in a way we are only just beginning to dream about. The government knows something that would change your life forever. Truth buried under top secret tags. So, why hasn't the Pentagon reported this clear footage? For starters, they have an office called the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO for short. They are supposed to tell the public the truth about these objects. But if you look at their reports, they only talk about the boring cases. They show us grainy videos of balloons or distant planes. They never mention the silver orb that sat right in front of a Reaper drone for 5 minutes. The crazy part is that many whistleblowers are now coming forward to explain why. They say that there are secret programs buried so deep that even the president does not know about them. These programs are allegedly focused on reverse engineering the craft we have captured. See, if the government admits that these clear videos are real, they have to explain what they are. And they do not want to do that, because they want to keep the technology for themselves. Basically, it is a race for power. The first country to figure out how these gravity drives work will rule the world. They would have weapons and transport that no one could ever stop. This is why the silence is so heavy. They are not protecting us from a panic about aliens. They are protecting their secret research. They are worried that if the public sees how advanced these things are, there will be a demand for the technology to be shared with everyone. And get this, a lot of the best footage is classified as top secret because of the sensors used to film it. The Pentagon claims that if they show us the clear video, they are revealing how good our cameras are to our enemies. It is a perfect excuse to keep the truth hidden. They can say they want to be transparent, but then hide behind national security whenever a clear shot like the silver orb comes up. One of the most overlooked aspects is that this cover-up has been going on for a long time. People like Jeremy Corbell have been leaking these videos because they know the government won't. When a video leaks, the Pentagon usually waits a long time and then says they cannot identify the object. They do not say it is alien, but they do not say it is ours either. They leave us in this middle ground where nothing is certain. There are still many rumors on the air about what else is hidden in those files. Some say there are videos of these crafts landing and being studied. Others say we have recovered bodies from crash sites. Whether that is true or not, the clear footage of the objects in flight is enough to prove that something is going on. The government is not just being slow. They are being careful. They are managing the news to make sure we only see what they want us to see. It is a lot of people who are confused by the mixed messages. One day a general says these are a threat, and the next day a spokesperson says there is no evidence of aliens. This confusion is intentional. It keeps the mystery alive without ever giving a straight answer. But the Clear video does not lie. It shows a machine that is not from our world, and no amount of government paperwork can change that. But the most shocking evidence is sitting right in front of us. Answers hidden in plain sight. These are not ghosts, weather balloons, or psychological myths. They are physical machines captured on the world's most sophisticated military hardware. The Pentagon's current silence is the loudest signal in the world. It suggests we are dealing with a paradigm shift so profound that it could render our entire global infrastructure, economic, religious, and scientific, obsolete overnight. What most people do not realize is that we are likely standing on the precipice of a new age, one where the internal combustion engine and the jet turbine look like stone tools. If we can reverse engineer the physics behind these silver spheres, the constraints of the physical world evaporate. We would not be traveling to Mars in months. We would be reaching the outer edges of the solar system in days. The promise is not just about speed, but about the total democratization of energy. A craft that can manipulate gravity likely taps into the zero-point energy of the vacuum itself, providing a source of power that never runs out and requires no fuel. This information is being guarded by a small cadre of individuals who understand that such a discovery would collapse the petrodollar and dismantle the current geopolitical hierarchy. But as commercial sensor arrays improve and the democratization of space surveillance continues, the truth is becoming impossible to contain within a classified basement. The most disturbing part is the realization that we may have been misinterpreting the origin of these visitors for decades. While the popular narrative focuses on aliens from distant stars, the reality could be far more local and far more complex. We must consider the ultra-terrestrial hypothesis, the idea that a highly advanced, non-human intelligence has lived alongside us on Earth for millennia, perhaps in the depths of the oceans or in subterranean pockets we cannot access. These objects are frequently seen entering and exiting the water at speeds that would disintegrate any human-made vessel, suggesting the abyss is not a void, but a hangar. If they have been here longer than we have, we are not the masters of this planet. We are simply the surface-dwelling tenants of a landlord we have never met. Another theory gaining traction in specialized circles involves the block universe model of physics, where time does not flow, but exists as a static, four-dimensional structure. In this framework, these objects are not from another galaxy, but from our own future. They are our own descendants, utilizing metric engineering to navigate the temporal axis as easily as we navigate a highway. Their presence near nuclear sites and major historical pivot points suggests they are not tourists, but timeline technicians attempting to prevent a localized extinction event that hasn't happened yet for us, but is historical fact for them. This would explain their humanoid-adjacent appearance and their intense interest in our genetic and ecological health. Alternatively, we might be looking at von Neumann probes, self-replicating artificial intelligence launched by a civilization that may have gone extinct millions of years ago. These machines are post-biological, programmed with a directive to monitor emerging technological species. They don't need to communicate because they are essentially autonomous game wardens of the galaxy. They wait for a species to reach a specific techno-signature threshold, such as the splitting of the atom or the creation of AGI, before intervening. If this is the case, the objects we see in the sky are not carrying pilots. The objects are the pilots. They are sentient bits of hardware that perceive time and space in ways we cannot comprehend. Are we ready for the truth about who is really flying these crafts? Tell us what you think in the comments. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more mysteries.